The morning Hassan walked into Earth's Defense Command, everything changed. The tall military strategist adjusted his uniform and stared at the giant screen showing an alien ship hanging above Earth. Its strange shape reminded him of a dark cloud, blocking out the stars behind it. "Sir, the alien transmission is coming through again," said Jinnah, her fingers moving quickly across the control panel. She had been working with the AI systems for 20 hours straight, trying to understand the strange signals. The alien face that appeared on the screen looked almost like smoke given form. Its eyes glowed like distant stars, and when it spoke, the universal translator turned its words into flat, emotionless English. "People of Earth, we are the Voidborn. Your actions offend the sacred laws of space. The moon mining must stop." Do-Yun stepped forward, his diplomatic training showing in his calm voice. "We welcome you to Earth's space. Perhaps we can discuss why our mining operations concern you." The Voidborn's form rippled, showing what Hassan thought might be anger. "Moons are sacred. They are the children of planets, the watchers of life. Your drills and machines tear at holy ground." Behind the main screen, Hassan watched the numbers from the lunar base scroll past. Earth needed those mines. The rare metals they dug up powered everything from starships to food synthesizers. Without them, billions would go hungry. Sun Mai, the lead scientist, walked up beside him. She smelled like coffee and hadn't slept in days. "The new deep core samples just came in," she whispered. "The moon's resources could keep Earth running for 1,000 years." The Voidborn kept talking, their voice getting harder. Across 50,000 worlds, moons remain pure and untouched. Only barbarians would dare to wound them. Hassan saw Do-Yun's shoulders tense at the insult, but the diplomat kept his voice steady. "Our people depend on these resources. Surely we can find a way to respect your beliefs while meeting our needs." "There is nothing to discuss. You have 3 Earth days to remove all mining equipment from your moon. After that, we will remove it ourselves." The screen went dark. The room burst into worried talk, but Hassan stayed quiet, thinking. He looked up at the secondary screen showing the lunar base where his friend Taeho was in charge. The base's lights sparkled against the dark side of the moon. "They're serious," Jinnah said, looking up from her eye analysis. "Their ship's energy readings just spiked. They're getting ready for something." Do-Yun turned to Hassan. "What do you think? Your strategies have saved us before." Hassan walked to the window and looked up at the real moon hanging in the morning sky. It had always been there, watching over Earth. Now it might start a war. "Get me everything we have on their ships," he said, "and call all Earth's leaders. They need to know we're not just fighting for resources anymore." He turned to face the room. "We're fighting for our right to survive." Sun Mi nodded, already pulling up more data. "The lunar mines produced 60% of our rare metals last year. Without them, Earth goes back to the Dark Ages," Jinnah finished. The room grew quiet as that sank in. Hassan looked at each worried face, then spoke firmly. "The Voidborn think they're protecting something sacred, but they don't understand that the moon stopped being just a beautiful light in our sky a long time ago. Now it's the key to our future." Do-Yun sighed. "I'll keep trying to talk to them. Maybe they'll listen if we explain better." "Keep trying," Hassan agreed. "But we also need to get ready. Jinnah, wake up all our orbital defenses. Sunma, I want to know everything about the moon's structure. If they attack the mines..." He paused, not wanting to say what everyone was thinking. If they attacked the mines, humanity would have to fight back. And Hassan had a feeling that when humans fought for survival, the galaxy wasn't ready for what they could do. As if agreeing with his thoughts, the moon caught the morning sunlight and seemed to glow brighter in the sky. 3 days. They had 3 days to prevent a war, or to get ready to win one. 2 days had passed since the Voidborn's threat. Hassan hadn't slept much, and the control room's bright lights hurt his eyes. He watched as another mining cruise ship lifted off from the moon's surface. leaving valuable equipment behind. That's the sixth crew to evacuate, Jinnah said, her eyes fixed on the tracking screen. Dark circles under her eyes showed she hadn't slept either. Only 4 more to go. The door slid open and Sun Mai rushed in. Her lab coat was wrinkled, and she held a tablet so tightly her knuckles were white. "Stop the evacuations," she shouted. "Everyone needs to see this." She plugged her tablet into the main screen. The 3D image of the moon appeared, but something was different. Deep in its core, colors pulsed that Hassan had never seen before. "What are we looking at?" Du Yun asked, walking closer to the screen. Sun Ma's hands shook with excitement. "We found something in the deep core samples. A new element. It's incredible. The energy readings are off the charts." "Explain it simply," Hassan said, leaning forward. "It's like a battery made by nature," Sun Ma said. "One chunk the size of an apple could power all of Asia for a year. And the moon's core is full of it." The room went silent. Jinnah's AI displays started flashing with calculations. "If these readings are right," she said slowly, "this could solve Earth's energy problems forever." The moment broke when alarms started blaring. Taiho's face appeared on the emergency screen from the lunar base. Multiple Voidborn ships just appeared. His image shook as something exploded nearby. "They're not waiting for the deadline." Hassan jumped into action. "Show me their positions." The screen split to show 12 Voidborn ships surrounding the moon. They were firing warning shots near the remaining mining sites. "They know," Du Yun said quietly. "They must know about the element. That's why they want us away from the moon so badly." Another explosion rocked Taiho's camera. "They're getting closer. We need orders." Hassan looked at Du Yun. The diplomat nodded and stepped up to the communications panel. Opening channel to the Voidborn fleet. The smoky face appeared again. But this time it looked more solid, more angry. "You hide the truth," it said before anyone could speak. "You dig for the Sacred Heart. This is worse than we feared." "We only just discovered it ourselves," Du Yun said. "We can discuss sharing this resource." "There will be no sharing," the Voidborn commander roared. "The power of moons keeps the galaxy in balance. In your hands, it would bring only destruction." More Voidborn ships appeared on the radar. Jinnah's hands flew over her console. 20 ships now. Their weapons are hot. Hassan stepped forward. "If you fire on our people, we will defend ourselves." The Voidborn commander's form rippled with what looked like laughter. "You are children playing with fire. We have guarded the moons for 10,000 years. Your weapons are nothing to us." "Maybe," Hassan said calmly. "But we're fighting for our survival. Do you know what humans do when they're backed into a corner? Your threats mean nothing. Remove your people, or we remove them." The screen went dark. Immediately, Hassan turned to Jinnah. "Wake up every defense satellite we have. Get me direct lines to every military commander on Earth." He looked at Sun Ma. "How long to get those mining crews back to the important sites?" 8 hours, maybe 7. "They'll attack before that," Jinnah warned. Hassan nodded. "Then we need a new plan." He walked to the window and looked up at the moon. It had always been just a moon to him before. Now it might be the most important object in human history. "Sir," Taiho's voice came through again. "The Voidborn ships are moving into attack positions. Hold your ground," Hassan ordered. "Help is coming." He turned to his team. "The Voidborn think they're protecting something sacred, but they're about to learn that nothing is more sacred to humans than survival." Outside, the first flashes of weapons fire lit up the sky around the moon. The lunar surface erupted in bright flashes as Voidborn ships launched their first real attack. Inside the command center, Hassan watched as Taiho's defense teams fought back with everything they had. "Base 3 is hit," someone shouted. The screen showed one of the smaller mining stations burning, its oxygen tanks exploding into the vacuum of space. "Get me a clear count of their attack pattern," Hassan ordered, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. The Voidborn ships moved like smoke in wind, their paths hard to predict. Jinnah's AI systems were running hot, trying to make sense of the chaos. "There's something strange about their attack," she said, frowning at her screens. "They're hitting our stations, but look at the damage patterns." Hassan moved to her station. The computer showed the Voidborn weapon impacts in red. They formed an odd circular pattern around each base. "They're not trying to destroy the bases," he realized. "They're cutting them loose from the surface." Sun Mai rushed over, her hair messy from running her hands through it. "The moon's crust is cracking along those lines. If they keep this up..." She didn't finish, but she didn't need to. Everyone could see the structural damage spreading through the moon's outer layer. Taiho's voice crackled through the speakers. "Main base shields at 60%. We've lost contact with Mining Station 5. His image shook as another blast hit nearby. "But we've taken down 2 of their ships." "How did you manage that?" Hassan asked, hope rising in his voice. "They didn't expect us to fight back," Taiho said with a grim smile. "Their shields are strong against normal weapons, but we reversed our mining lasers, turned them into cutting beams. They weren't ready for that." Jinnah's computers beeped urgently. "Their ships are changing formation." "I think, yes. The AI sees it now. There's a pattern in their movements. They're not just attacking randomly. It's like a dance." Hassan studied the new data. The Voidborn ships moved in perfect circles, each one following an exact distance from the others. "It's a ritual," he said suddenly. "They're not just attacking us. They're performing some kind of ceremony." "Sir," a young operator called out, "Earth's defense fleet is ready to launch. They're waiting for your signal." Hassan looked at Du Yun, who had been quietly watching everything. The diplomat nodded slowly. "We tried peace. They chose war." "Launch the fleet," Hassan ordered. "All ships, full burn. Hit them while they're focused on their pattern." Space lit up as Earth's ships rose from their hidden bases. The Voidborn's perfect circles broke apart as human vessels slammed into their formation from below. "Direct hit on 3 enemy ships," Jinnah reported, her voice rising with excitement. "Their pattern is disrupted." But their victory was short-lived. The moon's surface suddenly split with a new crack, this one deeper than the others. Sun Mi's instruments screamed with warnings. "The core," she shouted. "The energy element is becoming unstable. All these attacks are affecting it somehow." Through the chaos, Hassan noticed something odd about the Voidborn ships. They were pulling back, moving away from the moon's surface. Their attacks stopped all at once. "They're retreating?" Du Yun asked, confused. "No," Hassan said, his voice grim. "This was a test. They wanted to see how we'd fight." And he looked at the moon's new damage on the screen. They wanted to see what would happen to the core under stress. The main screen flickered, and the Voidborn commander appeared again. Its smoky form seemed more solid now, almost crystal-like. "You fight well, for primitives," it said. "But you have proven our fears correct. The Sacred Heart cannot remain in your hands. When we return, we will not test. We will end this." The screen went dark, and the Voidborn ships vanished into deep space. "How long?" Hassan asked Jinnah. She checked her readings, based on their engine signatures. "They'll be back with a bigger fleet in 3 days." Hassan looked at the damaged moon, its surface now crossed with glowing cracks. "Then we have 3 days to decide if we're ready to do whatever it takes to survive." 2 days after the first battle, Sun Mi stared at her computer screen until her eyes hurt. The numbers didn't change, no matter how many times she checked them. She had to tell the others. She found Hassan and Jinnah in the main control room, studying battle plans with Du Yun. Taiho's face watched from the lunar base screen, looking tired but alert. "I know how to save Earth," Sun Mi said. Everyone turned to look at her. "But you're not going to like it." Hassan saw the fear in her eyes. "Tell us." Sun Mi connected her tablet to the main screen. A model of the moon appeared, its core glowing bright red. The energy element in the moon's core is becoming more unstable every hour. If the Voidborn attack again, she took a deep breath. The moon will break apart on its own. When it does, most of the pieces will hit Earth. The room went silent. Du Yun spoke first. How many would die? Everyone, Sun Mai said quietly. The impacts would destroy our civilization. But she pressed another button, and a new simulation started. If we blow up the moon ourselves, in a controlled way, we can direct most of the pieces into space, away from Earth. Blow up the moon. Jin Ah whispered. Can we even do that? The mining charges, combined with the unstable core. Sun Mi nodded. Yes, we can. Hassan walked to the window and looked up at the moon. It hung in the sky like it always had, but now he could see the cracks on its surface, glowing faintly. If we destroy the moon, Du Yun said, the Voidborn will attack with everything they have. They're going to do that anyway, Taiho said from the screen. At least this way we choose how it happens. Jin Ah's AI systems were already running calculations. If we set the charges right, we could even use some of the explosion to power our defense systems. The energy release would be enormous. The whole world needs to agree, Hassan said. This affects everyone. Within an hour, leaders from every country joined an emergency call. Sun Mi showed them the data. Arguments broke out. Some wanted to surrender to the Voidborn. Others wanted to fight to the last person. A few just sat in shocked silence. The moon has been humanity's companion since we began, an old scientist said. Its light guided our ancestors. Its pull moves our oceans. Who are we to destroy it? Who are we to let it kill us? Hassan answered. He stood up, looking at each face on the screen. The moon has been our friend, yes. But now it's like a dying friend who could take us with them. We have to let it go, or we all die. More arguments followed. Hours passed. Finally, they voted. The decision was made. Hassan turned to his team. How long to set the charges? 12 hours, Taiho said. My teams are ready. The Voidborn will be back before then, Jin Ah warned. Then we work faster, Hassan said. He looked at Du Yun. Make one last call to the Voidborn. Tell them what we're planning. Maybe the threat will be enough. Du Yun sent the message. The response came back quickly. You would not dare harm the sacred moon. If you try, your species ends. Get those charges ready, Hassan ordered. And someone wake up every weapon we have. If we're going to do this, we do it right. As his team rushed to work, Hassan looked at the moon one last time. Soon, that familiar sight would be gone forever. But if they succeeded, humanity would survive. And maybe the galaxy would learn an important lesson. Never push humans to their breaking point. You won't like what happens next. Voidborn fleet detected. Jin Ah's voice cut through the tense silence of the command center. 50 ships, approaching fast. Hassan stood at the main control station, his hand steady despite having not slept for 2 days. Taiho, status of the charges. Final charge being set now. Taiho replied from the lunar base. Behind him, workers rushed to finish their tasks. We need 10 more minutes. The Voidborn will be here in 8, Jinna said, her AI displays flashing with warnings. The main screen lit up with the Voidborn commander's face. Its smoky form now looked like sharp crystals, anger making it more solid than ever. Your species ends today, it announced. You cannot be trusted with the sacred powers. Hassan stepped forward. Last chance. Turn back now, or watch your sacred moon die. You bluff, the commander said. No species would dare. We're not bluffing, Hassan cut in. Humans don't bluff when survival is at stake. Look at your scans. See what we've done. A moment of silence followed. Hassan knew the Voidborn were checking their instruments, seeing the charges placed deep in the moon's wounded surface. The commander's form flickered with what might have been fear. You destroy your own moon. You are madder than we thought. Charges ready, Taiho shouted, starting evacuation. Hassan watched the screen as small ships lifted off from the lunar surface, carrying the brave men and women who had set the charges. The Voidborn fleet was close enough now to see with normal cameras. All lunar personnel aboard evacuation ships, Jidna reported. 30 seconds until they're at safe distance. The Voidborn ships suddenly accelerated. They're making a run for the charges, someone shouted. Not today, Hassan said quietly. He pressed a button on his console. All ships, execute Operation Moonfall. Earth's defense fleet appeared from behind the moon, weapons blazing. They weren't trying to destroy the Voidborn ships, just slow them down. The space around the moon lit up with energy beams and explosions. Evacuation ships clear, Jin-Ah announced. Taiho's ship is leading them home. Hassan looked at Sunmei. She nodded, her face pale but determined. Together, they placed their hands on the final control panel. It needed 2 keys to activate. May our children forgive us, Sunmei whispered. They turned the keys. For 1 second, nothing happened. Then a bright light burst from deep within the moon's cracks. The surface bulged outward as the charges triggered the unstable core. Energy spike off the charts. Jin-Ah shouted over the noise of alarms. It's working exactly as planned. The moon's surface split apart like an egg breaking in slow motion. Light poured from every crack. The Voidborn ships scattered, their perfect formation broken by panic. Brace for shockwave, Hassan ordered. The moon exploded. But it didn't just break apart. It shattered in exactly the way Sunmei had calculated. Most of the pieces flew outward, away from Earth. The energy core released its power in a controlled burst that pushed the debris clear. The command center shook as the shockwave hit Earth's atmosphere. Outside, the sky turned bright as day from the explosion's light. Debris tracking systems online, Jin-Ah reported, her voice filled with awe. 90% of lunar mass is moving away from Earth, just as planned. The shields are handling the rest. The Voidborn commander appeared on screen one last time. Its crystal form was shaking. What have you done? It whispered. What kind of species destroys its own moon? Hassan stood straight, looking directly at the alien. The kind that survives. Now shall we discuss new terms? Behind him, through the command center's windows, pieces of the moon streaked across the sky like 1,000 falling stars. Earth's long night had begun, but humanity had chosen its path. They were no longer the species that lived under the moon. They were the species that destroyed it to survive. And the galaxy would never forget that. The first sunrise after the moon's destruction was strange and beautiful. Where the moon had once been, a ring of glowing debris now circled Earth. People around the world stood outside, staring at the sky in silence. In the command center, Hassan watched the global news feeds. He expected panic. Instead, he saw something different. They're celebrating, Du Yun said, looking at the screens in surprise. In every city, on every continent. The screen showed crowds gathering in streets worldwide. People weren't afraid. They were angry. Signs in every language carried the same message. We will not surrender. Jin-Ah's AI systems were monitoring global communications. Social media is exploding, she reported. The most shared message is, they made us destroy our moon. Now we make them pay. Hassan nodded slowly. The Voidborn thought destroying the moon would break us. Instead, it united us. Sunmei rushed into the room, excitement on her tired face. The energy readings are incredible. The moon's core element. It's in all the debris. We can collect it. The Voidborn fleet is still out there, Jin-Ah warned, holding position just beyond Mars. Good, Hassan said. Let them watch this. He pressed a button on his console, connecting to all Earth's defense forces at once. Begin Operation Starfall. Across Earth, hidden launch sites opened. Hundreds of ships rose into space, but these weren't military vessels. They were mining ships, redesigned overnight with weapons and armor. Mining Fleet Alpha, heading for the northern debris field, a captain reported. Mining Fleet Beta, moving to secure southern fragments, another called in. Hassan watched as the fleets moved with perfect coordination. Jin-Ah's AI systems guided them through the dangerous debris, helping them collect the most valuable pieces. Energy collectors at maximum, Sun Mai said, watching her instruments. The power output is beyond anything we imagined. We could power Earth for centuries with just what we've gathered so far. The main screen flickered. The Voidborn commander appeared, its crystal form now sharp with fury. You dare, it hissed. You destroy the sacred moon, then harvest its corpse. We dare, Hassan replied calmly. You forced this choice. Now watch what humans do with it. Taiho's voice came through from his ship, leading one of the mining fleets. Sir, the debris we're collecting. When we run it through the mining lasers, it amplifies the beam strength by 10 times. Hassan smiled at the Voidborn commander. Heard that? The moon's final gift to us. Weapons that can cut through your ships like paper. The commander's form flickered with what might have been fear. You are monsters. No, Du Yun stepped forward. We are survivors. You pushed us to this. Everything that happens next is your doing. Jin-Ah's screen suddenly lit up with new alerts. Multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Thousands of them. Everyone tensed, expecting more Voidborn ships. But these were different. Sir, Jin-Ah said, her voice filled with wonder. They're other species, dozens of them, all broadcasting the same message. The message played through the command center speakers. We stand with Earth. The Voidborn's tyranny ends here. Hassan looked at the Voidborn commander. See that? You didn't just wake up humanity. You showed the galaxy that your sacred laws can be broken, that you can be fought. The commander's image vanished. The Voidborn fleet began retreating. Should we pursue? Taiho asked. No, Hassan said. Let them run. Let them tell everyone what they saw here. Let the galaxy know that humans don't just survive. We turn our losses into strength. Outside, the ring of moon debris glowed brighter as Earth's ships continued their harvest. Humanity had lost its moon, but gained something greater. A future among the stars, and a reputation that would make any species think twice before threatening Earth again. 3 days after the moon's destruction, Earth's new fleet gathered near Mars. The ships looked strange. Part mining vessel, part warship, powered by the glowing blue crystals they had harvested from the moon's remains. Hassan stood on the bridge of the flagship, looking at the tactical display. Beside him, Jin-Ah's portable AI system tracked the movement of every ship. The Voidborn have gathered their main fleet at their home system, she reported. They think we're still cleaning up moon debris. They're in for a surprise, Taiho said from his ship. The former lunar base commander now led Earth's fastest attack group. These new engines are incredible. We can reach their system in hours instead of years. Sun Li's voice came through the comm system from her science vessel. Final power readings confirmed. The moon crystals are stable. Every ship has enough power to fight for a month straight. Hassan looked at the fleet gathered around them. Earth ships flew in formation with vessels from 20 other species, all former victims of Voidborn control. The Voidborn have ruled through fear of their sacred laws for too long, said Krell, an alien commander whose people had lost 3 colonies to Voidborn attacks. Today, that fear ends. All ships, report ready status, Hassan ordered. One by one, the fleet commanders checked in. Each ship carried a piece of the moon's core, transformed into weapons more powerful than anything the Voidborn had seen before. Remember the plan, Hassan said to all ships. We're not there for revenge. We're there to end a threat. Du Yun will broadcast our terms as soon as we arrive. The diplomat nodded from his station. The message is ready. Simple and clear. Stop your attacks or face the species who destroyed their own moon to survive. Sir, Jin-Ah called out. Long-range sensors detect void-borne ships heading to 3 other systems. They're spreading their forces thin. Hassan smiled. Their plan was working. The void-borne were panicking, trying to protect too many places at once. All ships power up moon drives, he ordered. The new engines hummed to life, filling space with blue light. Battle formation Delta. Jump on my mark. Space bent around them as hundreds of ships jumped together. The stars blurred and stretched. When they came out of jump space, the void-borne home system filled their view. They're scrambling their defense fleet, Jinnah reported, but most of their ships are too far away to help. Broadcast the message, Hassan told Duyun. The diplomat's voice boomed across space. Attention void-borne command. You attacked Earth. You forced us to destroy our moon. Now you face the consequences. Surrender and end your sacred crusade, or witness what happens when humans fight back. The void-borne response came quickly. You dare threaten us in our own system. We have guarded the moons for 10,000 years. We cannot be defeated. Show them how wrong they are. Hassan ordered. All ships, execute attack pattern moonfall. Earth's ships moved first, their moon crystal weapons cutting through void-borne shields like they weren't there. The alien allies followed, their own weapons enhanced by fragments of Earth's moon. Their flagship is hit, Tahoe reported with fierce joy. Their fancy shields can't stop moon-enhanced weapons. The void-borne fleet tried to fight back, but they were too slow. Their sacred ceremonies and perfect formations meant nothing against the raw power of humanity's desperation turned into strength. Their command center is calling, Jinnah announced. They're asking for terms. Hassan looked at the battlefield. The mighty void-borne fleet was in ruins, defeated by the very power they had tried to keep sacred and untouched. Tell them our terms are simple, he said. Their rule ends today. The galaxy's moons belong to their planets, not to the void-borne spheres. And if they ever threaten another species again, he looked at the glowing moon crystal powering his ship. Well, they've seen what humans can do when pushed too far. 1 year after the moon's destruction, Hassan stood at the window of Earth's new space station. Where the moon once hung in the sky, a ring of controlled debris now circled the planet. Thanks to Sunma's work, the ring glowed with a soft blue light that made every night beautiful in a new way. The last void-borne temple surrendered this morning, Duyun reported, walking into the observation room. Their religion is changing. Instead of keeping moons pure, they're learning to use their power wisely. How are the other species handling their freedom? Hassan asked. Better than expected. The alliance we formed during the battle is growing stronger. 20 more worlds joined last week. Jinnah's hologram appeared beside them, her AI systems now advanced enough to create a perfect image. Speaking of growth, the Moonring energy collection is at record levels. We're providing power to 15 different planets now. Hassan nodded, watching Earth's new mining ships move carefully through the ring. Each one was piloted by graduates of Tahoe's Space Academy, where he taught the lessons learned during their desperate fight. Any word from the deep space probes? He asked. Yes, Sun Mai rushed into the room, excitement in her voice. We found 3 more deposits of moon crystals in other systems, all in dead moons that the Voidborn declared sacred centuries ago. And the Voidborn aren't trying to stop us from reaching them. They can't, Jinnah said with a small smile. The treaty is very clear. They broke their own sacred laws by attacking us first. Now they have to watch as humanity leads the galaxy in moon mining and crystal energy research. Through the window, Hassan watched a ship from another world dock at the station. These visits were common now. Everyone wanted to learn from the species that had dared to destroy their own moon and turned that desperate act into a victory. The lunar defense grid is complete. Tahoe's voice came through the comm system. His ships patrolled the debris ring constantly. We've installed the new sensors in every sector. Nothing larger than a pebble can approach Earth without us knowing. Good. Hassan turned to face his team, the people who had helped save humanity. What about the project? Is it ready? Sun's eyes lit up. Yes, come see. They walked to the station's main control room. On the huge screen, a 3D model showed their greatest achievement yet, an artificial moon, built from specialized platforms and powered by the very crystals that had been hidden in the original. We can start construction next month, Sunmi said. It won't be as big as the old moon, but it will handle all the important jobs, controlling tides, stabilizing Earth's axis, even providing light at night. And this time, Jinnah added, it comes with engines. If anyone tries to attack it, it can move out of the way. Hassan looked at the plans with pride. Humanity had not just survived, they had grown stronger. The night sky might look different now, but Earth's future was brighter than ever. The galaxy's changing, Du Yun said quietly. Thanks to us. The Voidborn's fall showed everyone that no power lasts forever. No law is truly sacred. What matters is how you face challenge and change. And how did the Voidborn ambassador describe us in the last meeting? Hassan asked with a slight smile. The crazy species who blew up their moon and lived to tell about it. Du Yun laughed. They say it with fear, but also respect. Outside the station, the debris ring caught the rising sun's light, sending bright blue reflections across Earth's surface. It was a constant reminder of what humanity had sacrificed and what they had gained, a place among the stars, not as humble newcomers, but as the species everyone knew not to underestimate. After all, if humans would blow up their own moon to survive, imagine what they'd do to protect their new dawn.